Okay, my name is Anton Oparin. I'm a fashion photographer. I've been shooting photography more than 38 years, and 34 years I dedicated of my life to fashion photography. And part of this is fashion runway photography. Because runway photography is a very specific area, not everybody really can do, but we're going to talk today about this particular subject, and you as a fashion students who really want to learn photography probably find very interesting points and turns and twists and some other stuff. So we're going to be like, I would love to share this knowledge with you and get question and answers interaction, because we're going to find the truth. What is a really runway fashion photography, which is include backstage, people, front row, maybe street photography, a lot of sub-directories you need to shoot, and how it's been delivered to the world through the magazine, media, internet, and lately, like, we start shooting video. We're going to talk about video as well, if you're interested. So, to be short, introductory part, okay? I was born in Russia, graduated 2 university. One is a photojournalist, another one is like marine biologist. After I tried marine biologist career for 6 years and dove 3,000 hours underwater, making scientific research, die almost 3 times of different technical causes, say, okay, no more science, let's do journalism, like, you know, and photography. So I use my second education, Moscow University. I graduate photojournalistic faculty, which has been organized between 2 institutions like yours, like in Yale and doing somebody in Canada. Also, they get a joint course called photojournalistic, but nobody knows how to teach photographers. This was no photography course, no books, just theory. So they involve institute who shoot in movies. It's called VOGUE, you know, movie institute. So, and the professors from this institute start teaching the students how to shoot photos and base of how they shoot in black and white at that time movies, still frames, composition, lighting, consistency, story, and delivery, whatever. So I get classical education as a film director. So, and I moved to photography. So my professor was really tough. I send them a black and white pictures with some night scenes with the grains and says, look, it's very grainy. It's not good, but it says, look, it's night, and it's supposed to give some dramatic atmosphere, consciousness. So we've been arguing, and this arguing like developed certain vision of technical excellence. Because the photography consists of 2 parts, technical and creative. If you're very creative, you can be a genius, you can see everything very good, but technically your picture is very poor because you don't know how. You can be a very good technician, but your picture and composition and everything, like, you know, going really poor. So it's a balance. I believe what I get, I've always been creative. My mother was a musician. I play violin. I like paintings. I go to the art. I go to the opera. My father was a scientist, geologist. Like, you know, I get an expedition, like, you know, get this kind of stuff. And I get certain creativity, but how to shoot it. So I get education about this. It was a black and white photography and movies. And then start color film come up. It was another story. So development, color film, and everything was a problem because, you know, they always get wrong colors and this and that. Nothing was perfect. Even this was like, you know, we get German films, Orva Chrom, and we will start shooting the Agfa film German, and we start Kodak American, like, you know, slight transparencies, but it was too far from the perfection. Whatever we develop, get some imperfections. So in Russia, I organized one of the first fashion shows. It was 1994 with 7 international designers. And I've been working already on television at that time, an independent program. So I get best cameraman from television in St. Petersburg. We get a meeting, and I show them some footage from Paris, from like you know, New York, and says, we have to shoot some shows. Nobody knows how to do it. I was the first guy who really shoot television multi-camera shows in Russia back in 1994 in a hotel called International, so biggest international hotel, and was supported by International Women's Club. What's the International Women's Club? It's the wives of all diplomats who get a mission to bring the culture to like people. So they put some funds direct to this, but I get a meeting with cameraman and says, look, we need to shoot runway. There's a certain lighting. We get a lighting company and everything. But each camera needs to shoot certain things. Well, it was a big Betacam cameras like this, shooting on the tapes. And we get one guy, Boris. He been shooting the motions, like, clips. He get like, really like Steadicam job, so it was really some. So you're gonna be most difficult camera, details, going up and down the clothes. We got all stuff. So it was a program, 17 minutes, in #1 channel in whole Russia, in Moscow, about the fashion on the international level. And 5 of these designers who was in the show out of 7 become famous. And still, 4 of them still doing the shows, like, get the fashion houses in Moscow, St. Petersburg, internationally shows. Some of these designers showing in Paris as well, like as a famous name. He died, Zaitsev died, so, but, so it was a generation. So I get very good start. And we also need to shoot photos. All right, so, and the cameras was expensive, no big lenses, none of this. So I came to my friend's lab, Fujifilm, and they got a big safe on the lock. Inside the safe was a Canon cameras, all lenses. So they say, it's all yours, if you know how to use it. So we get these cameras, we get a film, we get a photographer set up and develop this. We did not shoot slide, but we shoot color, negative film, and we get a Fujifilm lab to develop this film with the first fashion. So this was imperfection, but I've been working with them, and I know how to develop things, how to print and everything. So we get first show done. Then after this, they invite me to Moscow to start preparing and shoot program for Supermodel of the World contest with the 4 agencies. So a lot of models. It was 2 months we're working with models and designers and everything. It was a big show. But understanding of technical excellence coming from the Fujifilm, camera knowledge, and like working on television helped me to become actually a producer. So guy who can tell people, okay, this is a light, this is a model, this is a designer, this is a schedule, it needs to be done. So somebody have to inspire, ignite, and run the production. So actually what we're doing right now, we're doing a lot of production. Okay, this is head up, but what's been missing in this point? I was in Russia, it was not really developed fashion, it was not really developed photography stuff, there was not enough money, no cameras. And it's interesting story. One day I've been walking like in a main street in St. Petersburg and see like a bus stop, like big advertising on site like we're having. And it was, we start talking about inspiration right now. It's very important for all creative people. So it was this photograph, actually. Like, it was a cover. Okay, question to you. Do you know who are these girls? You know the names? Who knows? So I tell you, to be easy. So photographer was a German guy, very famous photographer, Peter Lindbergh. And he shoot only black and white. He did not shoot any color, and he shoot fashion in his own vision in black and white. So this cover of British Vogue, I believe 1992, something 1991. And this is young Naomi Campbell, Linda Evangelista, Tatiana Patitz, Christy Turlington, and Cindy Crawford. So I look at this. It was another cover of the Vogue, also by Peter Lindbergh, with a white horse, and I think Linda Evangelista been walking in a white dress on the beach, some blue ocean. So I'm looking at this, it's like, this is a dream. I'm probably dreaming. You know, it's how it's going. So this part was missing in my country. But I get the inspiration to get a dream. So what's I going to do? So I came in America, 1995. It's more 30 years ago. And I say, OK, I want to shoot high fashion. I want to shoot these particular girls now. How am I going to shoot them? Interesting, right? So it's only way to shoot this kind of model. If you're not really big established photographer running a studio with a famous name, which is like was, it's a shoot runway. Because this model was on a runway. So this is kind of situation, so it starts. But how to get to runway shows? So 1995, first year, Fern Mellis, by the way, director of New York Fashion Week, start doing the runway fashion show in Bryant Park in New York. And first, Charlie probably didn't know, it's called not Mercedes-Benz, not something like a New York Fashion Week. It's called 7-on-6. And I brought you something interesting. So I still get a lot of credentials from that time. Olympus, one of the first digital cameras, starts sponsoring this. And you see, start calling Olympus Fashion Week. It's get a small credential like this, you know. Runway access. How to get there? This was very complicated. I tried to apply for credential and say no. It's very limited and it's very difficult to get. And so I find a way. It was very limited number of photographers. It was built a tent in Bryant Park, and the photographer had been staying outside on the street in a metal ladder to get in. They cannot even come to the venue from inside. It was kind of, I don't know, second-brand people. You have to wait outside with the rain, with umbrellas, then get separate entrance, shoot the show, and leave. And security was so strict. For every show, they put you a sticker, particular color, and they get a list of photographers. As I remember this year, I started shooting 1996, was only 27 photographers around the world get access to New York Fashion Week. So I've been making money shooting model portfolios. And I'll show you something like, you know, with model agencies, some creative stuff. Let me get you idea about, I've been doing like more like fashion and everything like this, you know. And it's bringing me money, but it still not give me access to runway shows. But in this shoot for model agencies, I met one Italian guy. His name Augusto Cardinale. And his wife was one of the fashion editors in the Time magazine. Magic, you know. And because he got printed magazine in New York, one of the biggest one, so he got access. But he was okay photographer, not really established. So flashes in the camera was not perfect. He asked me, Anton, why when you shoot model, you get a skin tone, you get the flashes, you can see the flashes on the side, and everything fine. When I shoot, it's all flat, overexposed, because the flashes does not have this TTL metering that time. Let's do this way. You're going to teach me technically how to do this flash photography, and I'm going to bring you as assistant to runway shows. I said, great, deal. All right, so I get my step inside this runway shows as assistant, but problem was, he says, you have to buy your own film and you have to pay for development. Each roll of film, we shoot tungsten Kodak 160 ISO and 320 only. This was nothing. Negative was 800, it was the max level for the film. And light was not so bright, you know, so we need to do some magic. Each roll of film cost $8.50 for Kodak, $8.50. Development, $6.50. Plus, we've been doing the clips, like, you know, to check exposure, $2 each. Each show with a 36 shots frame, which is we need to rewind. Camera doing rewinding, like, you know. So you're going to get cost of $150 you need to spend out of your pocket to just shoot one show. So we shoot 8 shows a day approximately. And this is like $1,200 a day you need to just spend for film and development. If you shoot 6 days, not 7, 6 days of this, It's around $7,000 you need to spend to just shoot it. So we should develop, go to the Lightroom, get a loop, pick these best shots for each designer, make a duplicates in the lab, a little higher contrast but decent quality, and send original to publishing house located in Greece with a DHL. So it was a big magazine called Next Fashion and Fashion Line magazine. It's like a Bible for fashion designers. So get almost every designer, every outfit. So they learn about fashion week's fashion show from this magazine. So, and people ask me how many images you get published. Everybody gets interested about this. I'll show you something. It's one tear sheet left from that time. This magazine gone, but you know, this is actually my shots in a Fashion Line magazine. You can see the quality, the Carolina Herrera show. The model is Caroline Murphy. Look at the quality. It's no grain almost. It's very sharp, right color. It's a little bit dim because it's old, but you know, it was like more like gray, but still a good quality. So I shoot in film camera, Minolta, not Nikon, with a long lens 200-400 Tamron. But it's sharp, and the pictures, you can check it out. Check it out. This is interesting. So it's actual magazine. It's just left.
What year was that shot, you think?
This is probably 1998, something like 1997. So it's very old. So, but look at the flow of the dress. You see, the moment feet standing straight, very nice crop, feelings like this. It's a clear Carolina Herrera, like, you know, style from that year. So you look in a very rare, how many years? It's like 26 years ago, 27. Original print in a magazine and a paper from the film Runway photography done by me, all right? So Augusta not get jealous, he's get okay, because, you know, he say, okay, I get help, because we get two different camera angles. And he starts shooting more details. Because shooting runway require very proper zooming, watching the step. Also, his camera gets sharp and sharp, sharp and sharp, because they're moving fast. And light was uneven. I am also dial manual. I shoot runway that time already all manual. Augusta tried to shoot automatic, and his slides get inconsistency, which is really bad. But I told him, okay, Augusta, if you want to shoot well, what we've been doing, we shoot blindly. We can't know the screen. If you shoot wrong, you miss the show. How to shoot it right? Okay, this is practical hands about runway photography. We shoot, we get a camera meterings, like numbers, camera get us metering, okay, for particular stuff. We calculate, okay, we get film 160, let's say. And the lighting showing like very like low exposure. So we're gonna push this film, like, you know, ISO to 320, double. It's possible to do in the lab with at time of development. It's raising the contrast a little bit, but still get a decent stuff. So we get this exposure. We shoot all show without changing f-stop or shutter speed. Now we're changing. That time we did not change because we need a consistency in development. It was a trick. Nobody knows about this. And we come to all films supposed to be from one stock, same emulsion, same, not like 2 years old, 3 years old, they get all colors, need to be from the same. We keep it in the fridge, the film, to get it fresh. Can you believe it? So my fridge was, instead of food, get it full of films. So, and then we come in after the shows, later in the day, we come into the lab in Flatiron district, and for each show, we get a separate bag, okay? So we get, let's say, 20 films from one show. We get one roll of the film, give them, they go in the lab and cut it small piece. It's called clip. Develop it, we wait for 20, 30 minutes, then bring it, we look at this. Okay, this looks a little dark. Pull one stop up, half a stop up. They say, okay, and they add temperature and time combination and raise the ISO and make our show a little lighter. It was the way we control the quality at that time. Nobody knows how it works because it's really, really tough. Now, we get digital cameras, we get a screen, and the people, even they get a screen, they're shooting wrong. You say, how you can shoot wrong? We shoot blindly and we get well results. You can see proper exposure for whites, for everything, and you're shooting wrong. We don't know. Okay, your screen in the camera, it's a Polaroid. Whatever you see is what you get. It's no surprises. So I teach them like this way. So you have to trust your eye and like, we're doing. All right, so we finish with this. I want to give you some examples of, okay, pH platform. Okay, yeah, this is me actually, like in a platform. So let's start slideshow. You can see. So the thing is, it's going to be different size, maybe getting bigger. So that time, look at the photographer speed. And everybody get up to the ceiling in the highest level. Like, everybody get lenses, And the guy who's sitting there, who's standing there, what kind of chance they get to get a good pictures? It's a good question. So this is Yanis, for example. He's a Greek guy working in France. This is Dan Lecker. So everybody know each other in the platform. And look, it's getting more and more something. What's the 150 people doing in a platform? Everybody get the creative angle. Everybody get a different setting on cameras, different magazine editors, and different demands. Somebody shoot for designers, shooting for blogs, somebody shooting for magazine, and everybody using like all different kind of lenses. In the middle, usually been staying in house video, and a photographer wrapping up around. Most of the guys been shooting with the Nikons, if you see black lenses that time. Start shooting with the Canon, and right now with digital, a lot of guys switch to the Sony. But it's evolution. You can see the stories from, even in the street, we shoot in the big shows. Like, you can see, look in the lighting. Look in this. It's, I didn't remember this show, but everybody remember. This guy, like a third generation, like photographer, I'm working with his father, Antonio. So this is a story, how the photographer speed being built. And these guys, most of the big shows, it's so funny, photographers staying in the line in Paris by the palace together. This guy, Dan Leck, I'm gonna talk about him like separate. He invent runway and photographer speed. Because before him, everybody shoot from the sides. Nobody shoot runway from the front. And he says, why we have to shoot from the bottom with the wrong angle instead of we can go up front and shoot models coming toward us? I think it was a genius decision. And it's happened about probably 1992. This was not before me and everything, like, So I know all these guys, I can talk about this later, but just get the feelings. Platform is very crowded, so you don't have much space. You get a very small pit, probably marked before, and you need to manage to get a good shot from this particular spot. You cannot move around. How to get a good shot if you're not in the center? You're saying like, a little bit on the side. Look at this. This is my son Richard learning how to do the production when he's like, 3 years old, like, So it's our photographer, Paul Newland, he will welcome me. David Smith's been in our workshops, like, Andrew just get like mentioned. This is an John Galliano show in Paris. Look at this, the size of the venues, the decoration. In designers, in like, investors. Yanis shooting house for Chloe. It's like a lot of Japanese guys. Piero Bisson, like, very sneaky guy, but, so he gets his shot always. Like, This is Chanel show in Paris. They build like whole gallery and photographers there. Yeah, this is I think, I don't know, Acris show. So it's a lot of different setups, but mostly same people. And how the photographers get a spot on a platform? Everybody asks me about this. Actually, it's working this way. It's after party with champagne. So photographers know each other, and they know who important for this particular show. It could be different show, different importances. So like Somebody shooting for designer. It's an important amount. Somebody shooting for Vogue magazine and maybe some other. This is, what's his name? Douglas Bassett, a genius for backstage. He shoot only backstage for probably 20 years. So, this is a famous show in the Grand Palais, Chanel. I'm going to show you the slides later. Runway was 500 meters long. They build the beach, they get the salt water, pump it, make waves. And models walk barefoot on runway towards us, then put the shoes on and go back and wood, platform back, See, photographers looking in the camera with exposure. After every shot, they're looking and make adjustments. So it's a way to do it, So different venue, different lighting, different cameras. But you see, they're happy. This is Dmitry, they work with us, right now living in Ohio. This is David Smith, he also moved, he's a computer specialist, but This is Brian from Getty Images. We know everybody, you pointed. This is Tom Concordia, a friend of mine, doing an interview for us about how tough and no money in runway photography. But some people telling the truth. Also, I get an interview with Fraser Harrison. We're shooting with him from Getty Images many, many years together. He lives in Los Angeles, shooting mostly Oscars, not shooting much fashion right now. He says, my bank account did not get fat out of runway, but I'm working like workhorse. But these key people, they deliver fashion images to the world from all these years, and these archives is precious because, this is a history of fashion. People ask me, what is your job? I say, we deliver fashion, we record it, and we make it for other generations, going to look in these books and everything like this. I'm going to give you something to watch. For example, I've been working for Collezioni magazine. Collezioni magazine is like all collections. It's like a Bible. You can see every outfit. You can take a look. Check it out. I'm going to give you another one. Actually, this is my cover. I shoot at Chanel in a studio, and we did it with the style and everything. I got a video about this. Just check it out, what's going on inside. It's in this particular issues, it's about 80% is my pictures of runway. Because I did not shoot, that time I did not shoot much video, but me and my team, we get all different shows, because sometimes I send my assistant to next show, shoot this one, he already get a spot, we overlap and shoot this. Or I say, you going backstage, I shoot in front. So we've been working. So with very talented people, I get lucky with these people, and we're still friends, so in this. If you're looking at the photographs, it's really, really something. And I get a lot of affiliated magazines we shot with, so when people says, are you a good photographer? I says, maybe I'm not the best one, but we get in archives 3 million runway images. 3 million, what do you think? 3 million is a good number, probably it's more, but so already uploaded and developed. And I want to show you something what is this? It's called book, the book. The photographer need to get a portfolio size 11 by 14, like a designers probably also get, to prove how good he is. And in this portfolio, he needs to get the prints. You can take a look. This is a prints from 6 megapixel camera, original print. This is Linda Evangelista and Versace. This is some portraits. Julia Stigner, Naomi Aoki. So you can see, you can take it off. You can see this is a photo paper. This is original. Check it out. Look. Who wanna hold the Linda Evangelista from Versace? There you go. Check it. 6 megapixels only. I was working for Harper Bazaar magazine, and my editor from London called Versace and says, Anton, need to shoot backstage. And they did not send me an answer. I say, she called, I was in Milan and she's in London. Says, they did not answer. I say, call them again. So in 10 minutes, I say, you have to come to the gate, they're gonna bring you your pass. I come to the gate, they bring me a pass. I was only the person shooting Versace backstage because they dress celebrities there. They don't want anybody like that. And then after this, I shoot for about maybe 4 minutes, 5 minutes. The big security guy says, your time is over. You have to go to the front. So, okay, I get to the front, and they build photographers platform like 3 meters high on the runway in the center. And I stay like under this with house photographers, just 2 of us. Half an hour later, they let other photographers come in, and they all come into the up. From up position, imagine, angle of the camera is very wrong. But how they build it, because the people sitting there, they have no space for photographers. Just me and another guy been standing like this, and models on this show, they come in straight to us. You can see the eye level. They come in because I've been standing like this. Our eye level was like this. So we get a lot of unique shows. We get a lot of other locations, shoot models, this and that, so different stuff. But it was a portfolio bringing, this is also like in the Milan backstage, yeah. It's, what's the designer name? Very scandalous. She's been doing clothes for very expensive. No, but it was a market, so ladies come like this, they definitely get attention, right? So I forgot the name, but I'm gonna tell you. Like this is Christian George. Like this is model you cannot even recognize. This let me show you. This is Karolina Kurkova, Czech model, and Christian Dior. Interesting, right? So guys, you're holding originals. Come on, you can touch it. You can touch 20 years back, right now. And you can see this kind of proofs like in the magazines, it's another big magazines, look. Like, I've been working Idol magazine, I'm working with editor. He get a concept of printing not just the fashion shows, but printing, it's Victor and Rolf, or shoot it. Printing model name, who is the models. It's so interesting, so this is, you can take a look. It's very good quality.
These are Russian magazines?
No, it's American. It's here in New York, based in New York. So Collezioni was Russian edition, but they feed international all of them. It's like a big publishing house. So this is kind of stuff. And also, if we're talking about some fashion design, look in this book. The Fashion Designer's Textile Director. 98% fit with my picture. We've been working for 1.5 years with editors to deliver this for the students like you, what kind of fabric to use, and illustrate it with all different fashion designers all around the world. You can check it out. I can give you, this is all my pictures, like in a big book. So I feel like I made certain input in the fashion industry to make progress for younger generation of fashion designers. And even I inspired so many photographers and other guys. You see, color. You can see color? Guys, look. This is a color. What color is this? Give me the name of the color.
Aubergine.
Aubergine. Good. It's a mix with the fuchsia down there. So mixed colors. Photographer need to understand designer's language. Otherwise, he not belongs to the fashion photography. So you can check it out. Okay. When I came in America, that's interesting story. This is designer. We recently shoot New York Fashion Week. Norma Kamali. She invented like so like full style swimsuit. It's her collection at I believe 1997. Julia Anderson, model from IMG agency. And this was a contest in Popular Photography magazine about glamour and fashion, which I won. This is an article about me in Popular Photography magazine, talking about my career. This is me, and different images, and we're talking about how to shoot this stuff, And this was in the cover over there, so inside. So this interesting story. So I showed to designer 20 years later because she did not see it, and she was like dropping the jaw. This is my collection. So it's a story. But the interesting turning point in a career. This was 1997. I was between in something, and I don't know how to shoot really good runway. how to get in the middle and shoot for maybe Vogue magazine, Harper, and something. And after this article, editor-in-chief of Popular Photography magazine invited me to his office in Broadway for a personal interview. His name is Jason Schneider. Okay, I came to interview, and he says, sit down. And in his shelves was the old photo cameras. And I saw some Russian cameras, like, back and forth. It says, like, my grandfather from Vitebsk, the part of Russia. And I know this stuff. And he interviewed, I can take a look. Interview me, like, I give him a story, whatever. And after I ask him, can I ask you a question? Why I get like a previous experience working with the big magazines, like back in France, like, and back in Russia, and designers. Why I send my portfolio, apply for photography job, nobody take me in New York for staff photographer working for editorial for magazine. The guy look at me like this. One of the truth. They're all editors sitting in a chair. And they're holding a chair like this. They don't want to lose their jobs because of you. I say, what's wrong with me? I say, you too creative. I say, is it bad to be too? It's awful. It's very dangerous, he says. How come? Because one day you shoot genius pictures, next day you just want to sleep and not go for the job, or like shoot wrong style. And because the magazine running on advertisers, if they did not get this editorial on time in the magazine, they get a time editorial. They get fired. They get fired because of you, and they prefer just be constant. You say, what? What's this term, constant? This is how the magazine industry run in America. You see, it's kind of tough decision. So I say, he says, like, look, you need to find a balance between creativity, technical, and certain kind of connection. So you need to get connection with editors and designers who really recommend you in a certain level with a guy who is reliable. Instead of creative, you need to put in your front, I'm reliable. I'm available for work and I'm reliable. It's in the front of your head. Say, thank you, Jason. I follow your advice. You see, but it was not so easy. It's not so easy because there's so many photographers. This is Randy Brook, my friend. He's a very good photographer. But right now he's not shooting anything because very difficult fly Paris. We need to pay our own tickets, our own hotels. Nobody pay up front. So it's all expenses out our pocket. And how to deliver fashion if it's no money? Maybe later you can get compensated, but Randy says like, it's complicated. So B Videos, it was a big production company, B Video, like right now it's disappearing, like because no more commercial, no more money even in the video, like it's difficult. So they get some fraction. But let's coming back to some story. Camera gear. This was another question people ask me. Actually, I want to show you something else. Look at this. It was a mini DV tapes we shoot of the fashion shows. Get 900 tapes, 900 hours of fashion footage in our archives. Like we can do like, we're digitizing it right now because the tapes falling apart. So we find a way to, it's the first digital format. It's a tapes, but recorded in zeros and ones, so we get a good stuff just for you to understand. And let's talk about the cameras. Recognize this. Lenses. The problem with the photographers to shoot long runways, you need a very expensive equipment. You cannot just buy a snapshot camera and go to a runway and shoot it. So people ask me, what kind of lenses, what kind of cameras you need to use as a second subject? I say, this depends. Runway could be short, could be presentation, could be backstage, or some runways really, really long. Like, I need a long lenses. This is two lenses side by Nikon. The older one, like 200, 400 f4, and the newer one, 120 to 400. This lens costs $16,000, just one lens. This is about 6,000, 7,000. So the camera, 5,000-6,000. You needed two bodies, you need different lenses. So photographers usually in the back carrying about 30 grand. The guys who shoot in the big shows, they need to be stuffed. Also, when we've been talking about the older cameras, this is Nikon D1X. You know what was wrong with this camera? The shutter blow. You see this? We open the mirror, you can see the rest of the shutter. It's a gray one. It's the petals. Shutters blow. You see, this is shutter.
Oh, yeah.
This is a sensor. Sensor is big, and sensor in these cameras was made by Space Shuttle Technologies. It's not CMOS sensor. It's a CCD sensor using for solar batteries in the, satellites. So cost to produce the sensor was $5,000. Camera cost $6,000. They stopped doing this because, it's not valuable. And this sensor using a lot of energy. Why battery is dying so fast? Because this sensor is really energy hungry. But the thing is, in CMOS sensors, we get a round pixels side by side with some holes inside. So it's not tight to each other. This pixels was rectangular, not even square. First camera was released, it's called D1 without X. And it gets square pixels, like really square. And the quality of these images was kind of very low. I did not bother, I look in the review, say I don't like it. D1X introduced a new technology. They get rectangle pixels, and they multiplied it later when develop it. So it's really sharp because it's coming side by side. And this camera has been favorite for many photographers for about, probably it can hold 6 or 7 years. It's just a record, in the industry. Because right now we're buying camera in 2-3 years, it's outdated. So many, it's like telephone. You get your Apple telephone next year, new one. So technology is coming. Photographer asked me, all right, I want to be there. I need to buy $5,000 camera. I need to buy this lens and everything. So what's going next year? I'm not even making money to pay for my credit card. And how to move forward, because maybe next year, next 2 years, a new camera coming with a better quality. So what's going on with my camera? I'm not even paid for this. I'm not making any money. So it's a very good commercial question, so how to do it? My advice for the guys was, very interesting answer. I say, invest to the lenses, particular brand. If you shoot Canon, you buy Canon lenses, shoot Nikon, buy Nikon, use Sony lenses, because lenses are gonna hold professional grade for 10 years. You can change bodies, but if you have a good lenses, you still get a good quality. This was my answer. But technology is coming up, say thank you, but think about what you can produce in 5 years. If you put these lenses, even 20 years old camera, you still get a set. It's interesting, but technology is coming up. It's probably this 850 last DSLR camera Nikon produced. Right now it's a mirrorless. We shoot mirrorless first generation, and I'm telling you, they get different lenses, Z lenses, This was a problem. It's a smaller body, it's not really comfortable to hold it on runway. Lenses is good, it's fast, it's get adapter with all the lenses. But the problem was battery dying fast, small batteries. Camera get overheated, also shut down because a lot of energy. You not have an optical viewfinder anymore, we're talking about. Because we can see through the viewfinder, we can see all details, we get adapters. It's a digital viewfinder, so it's okay. With the Sony cameras and lenses getting better, but I'm an old-fashioned guy, and I tell practical. So I like this, for example, D850, even for shooting videos, still get a screen, I can do like this, I can get a light view, you can get everything through this. And it's decent, It's what we get, It's not so bad. From all different positions. So I'm not using much live view, but in a fashion photography, I get a grip here, somewhere in my bag. Get a special big battery from D5, and I can get 9 frames per second speed and full resolution. I can shoot both. If I get a fast cards, I can shoot both JPEG and RAW. But talking about the shooting, it's another subject. This is Nikon rigged something up in the remote control shooting top position. It's interesting, the same Nikon 850. Photographers shooting like crazy. You can hear sound. What's they doing? Why we need this? Because model walking. They walk and get a step on the runway. And what they get is they get in legs like this, get legs like this, and like, whatever they go, it's all wrong. Old school. I give you practical stuff. What I'm teaching my photographers working with me. Listen to music. It's a fashion show, they get the music. And good models, they're also walking by music. They make a step, ta-dam, ta-dam, ta-dam. And don't use the, motor speed, Just shoot every step, she landed on her feet. Bum, bum, bum. You shoot 15 shots of the model walking straight runway full body, and out of 15 shots, you get 2 or 3 perfect. You don't need 100 shots, you need tons of files. You need to watch, and also, I got a photographer, Albert Russo, working with me for a long time. I mean, notice something, like he's shooting step by step, and sometimes model blink. So it's a bad shot because you cannot open the eyes. And I heard his shutter doing like click, click. And the same step, legs still there, but eyes open. So photographer watching model with eyes, steps, how the dress flow, like it's showing the Carolina Herrera. Lot of other details. White dress, black dress, details, holding the bag, hat, all this stuff in the photographer. Charlie been shooting some shows. He starts sweating. He's like, get wet because in 15 minutes he gets so much concentration. This is a good photography. It's not a photography. We called it clickers. The new generation come and think they're going to beat everybody. No, you're losing a sense of fashion. So this may be an interesting example for you to understand. So maybe some of you are going to go to Runway Show with us, and I show you. The good guys, older generation, I told you, they always doing interesting stuff. Look, that's going to be your slogan. Everybody going manual. We're not shooting automatic settings in the camera unless it's a discotheque and rock and roll and some club shows, like really difficult. When the runway show get a constant light, and it's very constant during the runway, what we're trying to do with Wayne, so I'll explain maybe with light. You get your aperture shutter speed, and it's consistent during this. So you shoot manual, but the trick is, I want to tell you something. Designer, when they make collection, they're not all the same kind of color density. It's not all white collection except bridal. It's not black or something. Some things get red, beige, brown, whites, black again. So what's happening? All different fabrics, different color, reflect light differently. So what you need to do? We get a white dress. You need to close the aperture a little bit to get a constant. We get a black. You need to open up a little bit. So what's the photographer doing? They shoot in runway. They get exposure in minds, whatever is good looking in the screen. Then they come in. Okay, medium range, something brown or gray coming. It's my exposure. White coming. Model not even coming. They already closed it. Black coming, they already open, so by mind, not even looking in the screen. So it's good generation, so control whatever need to be delivered in the fabric and exposure through the totally controlling the camera, not camera controlling photographer, because automatic is again random. Can get, plus when you zoom in and out, it's more background, more black, less black. So you get really big inconsistency. So if you want to shoot runway, you go manual. You go in manual. So every mirrorless or DSLR camera get a manual stuff, and you have to go. But in other stuff, most of the photography missing up, it's a color balance. What color balance we get here? Who can tell me? It's a mix of everything. If you put an after in the video cameras, latest chip probably gonna mix magenta, greenish from luminescent bulbs, reflection from the floor, which is gray, this yellowish, and give you decent stuff. Sometimes in the shows, When it gets really, really complicated, we put out the white balance and correct it later because it's not possible. But most of the cases, what we're going to do, we get a white piece of paper. We get assistant standing on the runway on this. We point it at the camera on this and make a clipping. So white's supposed to be white. So white is component of all colors. We need to get it. So then fuchsia, blue, and beige and everything going to be correct. So color balance need to be done before fashion show starts. But most of the photographers, they does not have access to rehearsal or something because PR and designers don't want them mess with unready outfits. And they have no discipline. They shoot something and it's coming wrong. Only house crew who's shooting for designers, something. So we come into the show before, I get it, lighting, rehearsal, and they get in for us, so they say all cameras, so we're done. We make a clip, like, chip, in video it's called chipping. We get all different cameras, get the color bars and chipping, then gonna in the program combine, because all cameras chips a little bit different, so we need multiple cameras. Done, then photographers come in, people come in, photographers ask, Anton, what's the color temperature? Because they did not see rehearsal. And they say, 32K. What means 32K? Tungsten. You know what's the tungsten? It's a yellowish, so like whatever our bulbs are this. This is probably 42, 44 Kelvin. So it's measured in Kelvin, it's temperature. Daylight is 56. Blue sky, it's 9,000. So it's all range between this. Give you an example about the fashion designers. We shoot Hugo Boss show in New York. They build a runway all white. I came and say, what? Very intense, very bright. What's the color temperature? 8,000. Because they almost black and white dresses, very chic, very white, and they want it to be like high contrast, white, no yellow present. They want to very solid because no mistakes. It's very serious. So designers and PR team thinking about the lighting and color temperature want to do the shows. So it's really high-end. Let's go to the venues. I want to show you different venues. See, this is New York Public Library. So before the show, I think it was Gala Half Bridal. So we get this. How are we going to measure the light? It's no light. it's a discotheque. So this is B. Michael, I think, show. Yeah, this is our friend. How is this model name? Elena Kurnosova. She's very tall, chic runway model. This is a rehearsal. See, nobody there. This is the moment I told you. So we're house crew and we're looking at the light. They're very directional. They're light. We need to white, this blue. And we're going through this. This is Betsy Johnson's show, I shot between the cameras in the middle. It's funny. Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. Mercedes-Benz sponsored Los Angeles. They sponsor Miami Swim and New York for about 10 years. Then they get off because Mercedes-Benz not selling well in America. There's no reason to even sponsor fashion because it's not promoting the brand well, but it's being big help with Mercedes-Benz to the fashion because they cover all expenses for building the tents. They hold in this. So this is in Milan, like we shoot Matskina. I was assigned to shoot side camera. So my position was on the side, but you see what's this going? It's a dimension. So I got 3 guys in the middle. So I came late from another show, they on the telephone with me, Anton, take a side. So I shoot the side. Okay. It's also in Milan, the main tent. Look at the stuff. White's black. They're adding a contrast. Because if it gets white, it gets like mushy, foggy, fuzzy. This is really sharp runway and very strong. Look at the 3 lines of light. All cross direction, back and forth. Get even counter light in the hair. Amazing lighting in Milan. Amazing. This is Mercedes-Benz and look at how many lights. And it's Lincoln Center in New York. This is a front light. We've been talking with Wayne about how many lights need. This is a front light coming just to the mouth. This is a back shot, just in rehearsal. But these lights, you see, making this counter light in the back. So model with the good shows need to be three-dimensional with the lighting designers. So it's a good example. We've been working with Miami Swim Fashion Week for how many years? 5, I think. First 2-3 years was a big problem with the light. One was like purple, another was blue, another white. It's like all hard shadows. Producer asked me, "What's we gonna do with the lights?" I says, "Put more money." Make a good lighting. Right now, these guys in Miami getting one of the best lights. I'll come back. It's Chloe's show in Paris. This is Chanel. Space shuttle. Look at the size of this. Funny, right? Marc Jacobs in Army, they imitate the sunset. Interesting lighting. Yeah. Philipp Plein, also New York show. Interesting. Very high ceilings, lot of beams, dancers in the ceilings. It's Rick Owens in Paris, right answer. Thank you. It's Montclair in Paris. I forgot the show, but it's a lighting work, so we come early, like, you know, we'll just looking like, look how many lights in the ceilings. This is phenomenal show. This is Philipp Plein in New York. They're doing like space shuttle. We shot this show in the Navy Yards. So artificial snow, space shuttle landed. We have this full video online on YouTube. Space shuttle landed and opened the gate. It was kind of music, you know what's going on? Supermodel Irina Shayk came out of the space shuttle. And Dick robot higher than me like this, with no human because it's a hole. Voice activated, recorded to her voice particular, grab her hand and start walking around. And the song Frank Sinatra, Flying to the Moon. It's very, very interesting, you know, shows. But it was very, very difficult to shoot.
100 above. 200 minimum. 100. 5th, 4th, 3rd, 20, 10, 5.
Fly me to the moon, let it play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars.
Fly me to the moon, let me play.
Yeah, this is kind of, it's a really, really serious situation. So a lot of stuff. It's in Paris. I think it's McQueen show. It's creative in Milan, very, very, very. This is Christian Siriana in Gotham Hall. Sort of, this is off-white design. This is Chanel show we're talking about, like with sand and pool. See how long it is? So they build the motors and they push the waves this way. And models walk barefoot. It's the longest runway probably we ever shot, like, you know. This is in Milan before, you know, this is Alberto Ferretti's show rehearsal. A lot of lights. Imported Armani. This is how they recorded, like, you know, in Milan. So I working with a crew. Every camera recorded separate channel upstairs just for redundancy. Not only in camera, but in recorders. Very serious investment in the video production. It's New York Spring Studios. Look at the light and crane and everything. You see how many lights? You see, but it's paid by sponsors. They required money to make a great fashion show. It's a lighting and a venue. It's very, very important, you know. So it's just about the venue. This is our show with Shoot House, Museum of Natural History. This is a whale, huge whale. It's a NAERSI. It's I think a Chinese brand. They get a supermarkets all over the country. Like, you know, it's like H&M in America. So the show was like square, very difficult. One of the cameras was this, and we did a live stream. This is Cucciarelli in New York, so rock and roll band and some very low light. Shooting runway with models with such a light, artistic. We handled this, but video was okay. Stage, but almost no light here, so it was difficult. This is high-tech mode, a side view. So sometimes needed, like, you know, shows a venue and just model to just get atmosphere. Designer and magazine like it because if the article not about particular designer, but about the fashion, they need something less, put the words, put article, so what was happening in this particular day, whatever. Victoria's Secret setup. I shoot Victoria's Secret for 10 years now, so I have a lot of shows and backstage and everything. Photographer need to get ready for all different lighting situation. So because it's very rare get perfect. We come into the show, oh, it's too much light is also bad, get overexposed, too dark on the sides, too harsh light on the faces, we're losing the structure and everything. Low light, no contrast, too yellow, too green, too this, you know. Experienced photographers, they go into the camera settings. I'll show you something. It's very, very difficult to understand, but you know, I'll show you if it can come. For example, hold on. We get base color. For example, white balance. We're picking the tungsten. All right. So 32K. Then in camera menu, you can go further and you can get this. This is all gamma. You get too much green light. Okay, we come in to the show, I tell people, it's tungsten, but we get too much green. You have to get rid of the 2 stops of the green. And we start dialing this down, point to magenta or red or this. Doing this and saving this before the show, correction for, because color balance, it's about blue or yellow, but we also get a green and magenta, so this is a tint. Then we get a mixed color. We need to do better before the show, so keep a skin tone natural, warm, not yellowish, not greenish, not, most of the cases, like we saw a lot of shows, purple faces. It's ugly, or green. So guys are showing like in a platforming experience. They're staying before the show and like doing this, like, you know, okay, a little bit down, make again, and rehearsal. Doing this, so JPEG files out of the camera get a correct color and density. Why? I explain you why. You know what's the difference between RAW files and JPEG? Okay, question. What's the difference?
It's a lot bigger in file size.
Yes, it is, but why people shoot in RAW? RAW is recording from the sensor, from the chip. Uncompressed, undeveloped. It's kind of lower contrast, and you can get possibility to change a little bit exposure and can change color even in program automatically. But the problem is with the RAW, when you get a sensor, and we're shooting the runway shows, let's get back to, I show you something from the old one. Hold on. Old runway shows. This is interesting. This is 2009 Paris. Alexander McQueen, his last show, he was alive. It's called Atlantis. With robotic stuff cameras and the high heels and everything. Very low light because he get a screen projection in the back. How to shoot the show if your ISO 5000? Tricky. So if you shoot raw file, it's recorded 5000 amplification, electricity, like get start color noise, recorded very sharp these pixels, and it's going to be very difficult to make a noise reduction later in a program because it's already recorded like this. If you shoot RAW plus JPEG, it's hardware compression file and develop in a certain settings you do in manual in the camera, optimizing the quality with camera development to produce a better quality pictures later. So in a high ISO settings, sometimes, I'll not say always, sometimes, camera produce JPEG much better, much smooth, less grain, less noise. Especially on Nikon, kill all color noise to black. Get a patented technology. So it could be interesting. Well, this is the robots. You see, it was so low light. It's impossible to shoot there. Most of the photographers, out of, it was about 20 photographers there, probably 15 did not get it, just a few. They get the shapes like this, but did not get the models. Somebody tried to shoot the shoes. Shoes was in the high heels like this. Cannot get the shoes, not enough light. But designer creative, he wants this lighting. He don't want anything else. Look, this is our shots, like, you know, look how consistency done. New York Fashion Week, 2019, 135 shows. This is something like, you know, it's a teamwork. So Charlie asked me to talk about the team. One photographer in present time cannot shoot the fashion week. You need to team up. You need to get probably good team size, like 4 or 5 people. You get a schedule, you overlap, shoot one team, shoot this show, another show, and another go over this to next one. Otherwise, you cannot shoot one by one or come in late, you cannot set up. So this is situation, so like, you can see Naeem Khan, Oscar de La Renta, Life Lauren, everything mostly like, you know, this. Why? We did a teamwork. And when you get a team members, they're helping each other, we're not in competition, working as one team. All images come into the editors. Tatiana been editing photos for 6 years. She opened a file, look at this, and she knows who shot it without looking at the camera data. Photographers get a style like an artist. You see the painters, oh, it's Chagall. Why? Because it's Chagall. Says, okay, this is Edward James shot it. Why? Because Edward James like a high point, you get a long lens, you get a dead center. Little high point, but he's shooting the right moments. Other guys shooting different, maybe position, different technique. Everybody get a little bit personality. So, but overall, we need to deliver to the magazines like most important shows from each fashion week. This was my problem. And I start shooting New York Fashion Week on film, and I start shooting first digitals. Already published, so I talked to the magazine, can I work with you on a constant basis? They say no. I say, why? Look at my shot, I'm going great. We cannot work with you because you only shoot in New York Fashion Week. We need everything. We need you shoot New York, London, Milan, and Paris every season, twice a year, minimum, without talking about couture collection or bridal. So 2005, I started doing my world tour travel. And it's happened for about 10 years. New York, London, Milan, Paris. New York, London, Milan, Paris. All shows. It was very tough. So we finished last show in New York. I get an airport, and next show in the morning in London. Sometimes we not even finish last day, somebody else shooting this because we need to fly. Because London is starting earlier. And after London, you go into Milan on a flight. From Milan, we go into Paris in a train because we get a lot of luggage, better for us to go overnight in a train. At least we get some sleep. So, and all intense, but we've been dealing with the same photographers. We know the PR. When you're working for the big magazines, you're gonna get access. But you have no sleep, no food, no money up front, and you have to shoot well. I'm tired, I wanna sleep. Nobody care. You have to be in a show. If show at 9 o'clock, some important show, you have to be there at 7. And you finish last show at the midnight. How are you gonna be? And it's a sequence of whole months. People ask me, how I hold it? I say, I was young and probably enthusiastic, and I like what I do. So most important in a fashion, it's not only about the money or something. So money coming maybe later, but you need to love what you do. If you love, doesn't matter what kind of subject. Maybe I'm a cab driver. I love driving my Uber and talk to the people. And do a good job because it's what I do. I cannot do anything else. Or I chef in a restaurant. I love to cook. And I deliver with love, people enjoying. Being photographer, like I said, creativity, it was the enemy. But same time, in a certain things, you need to feel, you need to understand fashion. And it's coming only with experience. If you does not love fashion, my advice, don't go over there. It's no money right away, and not make you rich, not you famous. It's a hard work and require investment to equipment, team up with other photographers, don't get jealous with like, oh, he shoot better than me. No, maybe, particular stuff he feeling better, and another show he also can shoot something good. But well, that's the creativity. This is how it works. You see how beautiful? This is Valentina's show. Sometimes I look in the photographs, I remember who was the designer and how we shot it, and some particular stuff. and people in the background, and they're looking, wow, this is something like, you know. So this is inspire us. It's like, you know, energizes batteries. It keep me going and going and going. So like, you know, so I'm planning to do it maybe for at least next 10 years, you know. This is Oscar de La Renta, very unique show. Oh, about this show, I want to tell you the story. I've been shooting with Augusto Cardinale, this Italian guy who's shooting, and we get another guy. His name Arda. He's a Turkish guy. He was very good photographer. And for some shows, we get access, credential, for something not. Oscar de La Renta at that time was very restricted show. So we did not get access. And the show going to be in 3 hours after the show, we just shoot in the tent. And it was February. It was very cold. And this Turkish guy, Arda, actually, he working as a manager in B&H store right now. And like doing the movies in Los Angeles. He says, what if we not going out of the tent, because security was outside, go under the platform and hide there for 3 hours? And I'm going to show start. We're going to pop up and shoot the show. I never told this story to anybody. Listen, publicly, I told it to my friend, but you know. Okay, we went under the platform, and we get popcorn sponsored and Evian water. Popcorn get very oily, and water get frozen. Combination of popcorn and water get horrible taste. We get cold. It get dark. Everybody disappears. It's a break. So we fall asleep because we get cold. And we woke up of some noise because people stopped already filling up the space. It was dark and we lost orientation. Which way is the runway? Arda goes, let's go this way. I says, no, runway platform that way. So we split. They go that way, I go other way. So they came up, and the two security guys standing like this. So they grab Arda and Augusta, because right over there. I went wrong direction. I walked all the way with the model entering runway, and pop up over there, and show starts. It was a security guy there also standing. He looked at me and said, and I shot all this show. This is Oscar de La Renta returning back. So I shot all shows to the photographers. My background was the lenses of photographers. And I get amazing shots in the slides, very sharp, and dresses like Naomi Campbell was there, like all this stuff. Amazing quality. From opposite direction, this was phenomenal. It's been published everywhere. Like I'm telling you, this is a story how we. So to get to the show, sometimes this takes a lot of effort. It's not always green light. Welcome, please come. But you get a passion. You need to shoot. How it's going. This interesting show. I get a call from Italy. Versace making a show in the New York Stock Exchange. You need to shoot for Vogue Italia, this show, personally. How many photographers? 3. So it was very limited. So we went to the show, and it was like huge place. Black plastic, reflected, you know. So in a runway, they come in a square, a runway come in this way. So I get this notice like 4 days before shows. I call Nikon. I says like, I know the space. I say, I was a Nikon MPS member, professional service, and I talked to the managers directly. Says, I need to shoot Versace. I need a different lens. Next day, box FedEx in front of my house. $32,000 equipment inside. Ask about the lens. Why you send me the camera? Manager on the phone. If you drive in Ferrari, you're not going to put the cheap wheels on it. Open your menu. Attach lens, open the menu Nikon. Open menu Nikon, say, what you see in the screen? He's on the phone with me. It's a good lesson about photography. Say, custom lens A. Lens and camera being calibrated in a special device together for millimicrons of sharpness. That's a professional way to do it. Look, this is image I shot in this Versace. If you're going up, no reduction. You can see all lashes and everything like this, straight from JPEG images in the camera. So images get overnight to Vogue, so online edition. So this is kind of things photographers need to consider color. You see how difficult light, everything dark, high contrast, and they're moving very fast in Versace like this. No steps. And you need to follow the camera. That's why a cool Nikon says, I shoot 9 frames per second, but I shoot also manual. Tick, 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 tick. So camera get a 128 shots buffer. D5, I shoot with D5.
Did you keep the camera? Did they take it? Or did you
It's an interesting question. I also call them and says, look, this is a shot from the same show. Look, they come in pairs sometimes. Sharpness here, but it's already unsharp. You know? It's about if you can able to use gear. Owning and using is different things. Sometimes you need very specific. I call them because I know it's very difficult show. The model's gonna walk fast, and we need to shoot it well. The difference between other shoots and runway show happening only one time. If you miss it, you miss it. It's not a Lion King and a Broadway gonna go every night the same theatrical show. So you need to be really important, good photographer. Say, you're in charge to shoot the show, you're supposed to shoot and not miss it. Doesn't matter what. Be on time. So we like our team more like a military. Charlie, okay, wake up call, 6:15. Who's making breakfast? You know, doing this. So what time we have to be? 9 o'clock we need to be in the backstage entrance of the show. How long time? So we're making maps, traffic, this, calculate. So it's very, very strategical. What's the next show after this? So we're making plan for each day of the shoot from the evening of previous days. And see, like, if we get a credential, who's shooting what, who is backstage, who is that. So it's very important. So fashion photography is required when one very important thing is called discipline. Otherwise, you're not gonna get it.